Hello and welcome. You're watching Nothing But the Truth. Is Rahul Gandhi right in saying that the National Herald case is political vendetta? Or is he both factually wrong as well as casting aspersions on the credibility and sincerity of the judiciary? That's the key issue I shall raise today with the Gandhi family lawyer and former law minister Kapil Sibal. Kapil Sibal, on what grounds has Rahul Gandhi claimed that the National Herald case is 100% pure political vendetta coming out of the PMO? The case was originally accepted and summons issued by a trial court. Secondly, your attempt to quash the case was rejected by the Delhi High Court. When two separate courts are giving directions in this matter, how can Rahul Gandhi call it a political vendetta?
I think, Karan, you are misinterpreting what he said, because this is not with reference to what happened in court. This is with reference to what's happening outside court, which has nothing to do with the judgment. Let me just give you a couple of examples. Number one, Swami tweeted that I Prime Minister's office, and they have gladly now agreed to replace Katoch with a new enforcement directorate with reference to this case.
Can I answer that particular point before you go further?
Yes.
The truth of the matter, regardless of what Swami may claim boastfully in his tweet, is that Rajan Katoch, the enforcement directorate, was serving his third consecutive extension as ED director, at the same time as concurrently holding the job to which he'd been promoted of Secretary Heavy Industry. He'd held both jobs for a year. Surely the government was right in saying enough time to hold two jobs. Let's appoint a new man as Enforcement Directorate Director and let him be full-time in his new promotion as Heavy Industry Secretary. Swami may claim something boastfully. The facts don't prove it.
One second. I mean, there's just one. Swami is a member of the BJP, and he is claiming that Katoch had closed the case, and therefore the new director has reopened it. That's what he claims. He may be right, he may be wrong. That's not just one. Number
Forgive
two.
me, I've spoken to Swami, and he says to me that A, he's never claimed Katoch had closed the case because the case was never opened by Katoch. And Arun Jaitley has actually confirmed with me the following, that the Enforcement Directorate has taken no decision, issued no order, made no instructions in this case. As Arun Jaitley told me, the case was never opened, never closed, therefore never reopened. So even this is wrong.
It's possible that Swami is bragging, and Swami is a member of the BJP, and when Swami tweets the rest of the world these things, there is obviously, people start believing it, but that's not the only thing.
But then Swami's bragging isn't political vendetta. Swami's bragging is Swami's bragging.
Please let me answer that. The other day, just the Revenue Minister, Mr. Khatse of Maharashtra government, said that we're going to take over the land that has been allotted to. Now, that's nothing to do with the court case. Just yesterday. Then the Revenue Minister of Haryana.
But that can't be justification for Rahul, because it happened yesterday. Rahul said this 4 days ago.
No, this has been happening. The BJP has been making these statements in Maharashtra immediately after the case has been filed. Then the same thing has happened in Haryana, that they will take over the Haryana building that has been constructed.
That also is in the papers today. It can't be Rahul's justification. Rahul said 5 days ago.
This was being stated more than 5 days ago in Haryana. So what I'm saying is, number one, that you have statements made without reference to the case, which indicates that obviously this could not have been done without instructions from the top. And Mr. Jaitley himself...
Forgive me, that's a leap of imagination, because politicians are prone to speak on their own. It doesn't mean they're getting instructions from the top.
Mr. Jaitley in his blog and his Facebook had said what? That this is a violation of the Income Tax Act. Is he not the Finance Minister of India? Has it anything to do with the case? And can't we assume that, look, this is happening at the instance of the government? So ED, income tax, hundreds of notices of income tax.
Not ED. Not ED.
This is what Swami claims.
But he's wrong.
I don't know whether he's wrong or not.
You can check the facts. You can check the facts.
When the files are produced, even you don't know the facts.
I am quoting the facts as reported by the newspapers that Rajan Katoch had 3 extensions. He was concurrently holding 2 jobs. At the end of 1 year, if he is removed from one, it's not being sacked.
That statement may be right, and the closing of the case may also be right.
Thank you. Thank you for conceding that.
Thank you for conceding that. No. That closing of the case by Katoch may also be right.
There was no case opened, so there could be no case closed.
I don't know. Only the files will show.
Well, you're saying Arun Jaitley is lying?
Arun Jaitley has been talking about income tax and saying that we have violated the law. We'll know what the files when the files are shown. So let's not see, all these things are happening outside court, and it's in that context that Rahul Gandhi made that statement.
You claim that Rahul Gandhi's statement that this is political vendetta is justified by things happening outside court. Now let me finish. Now let me finish. Now let me finish. Let me finish. Oh well, please. You're going to bring in the whole of history to prove this little act of political vendetta. He's been talking about Congress Mukt Bharat before he came to power.
That's right.
Before he came to power.
That's political vendetta. That's political vendetta. Can any democratic party make a statement like that? Unless you want to eliminate the Congress party?
Let me put it like this. The interpretation of political vendetta to justify that Rahul is factually correct has become so broad and loose as to become for most people almost meaningless. You're going back to things that Mr. Modi said before he became Prime Minister.
I'm talking about contemporary things which I've given you examples of.
Let me give you the facts which I think disprove even more strongly that this is political vendetta. The case was first admitted in court in January 2013, 16 months before the BJP came to power. Clearly, Mr. Modi and the PMO could have nothing to do with it. Secondly, at that time, Subramanian Swamy wasn't a member of the BJP. He joined the BJP 7 months later in August 2013. So the BJP's involvement through Mr. Swamy is also questionable. The facts don't support the claim this is political vendetta.
May I answer that? Subramanian Swamy is very close to the RSS, we all know. Even though the BJP had not come to power, we also know that Modi ji is also part of the RSS. This is part of the agenda of the RSS. We know it. And even though Swamy was not a member of the Congress of BJP at that point in time, this was the agenda of the opposition at that point in time.
Mr. Sibal, if Swamy is under suspicion because he's close to the RSS, which is what you're saying, then how come Rajiv Gandhi accepted Swamy as Law Minister and Commerce Minister in a government that he supported under Chandrasekhar? At that point, the RSS connection didn't matter. Suddenly comes up now.
Coming from you, that's not a logical argument.
Why is it not a logical argument?
People change their loyalties overnight. You know that in politics. If Mr. Swamy at some time was close to Rajiv Gandhi, you can see the visceral hatred of Swamy with the present Congress leadership.
Can I put
Obviously, he has changed sides.
Can I put this to you? You're strongly arguing to me that Rahul Gandhi's statement is not made in connection with what actually happened at the Delhi High Court. The problem is this. Whatever you claim happened to Rajan Kotoch happened in August and September, 3 or 4 months ago. At that time, Rahul Gandhi didn't claim political vendetta. He said it 24 hours after the Delhi High Court rejected your attempt to quash the case. To everyone, it seemed as if Rahul's comment was connected to the Delhi High Court rejection, therefore was an attempt at casting aspersions on judges and their integrity.
How can anybody cast aspersions on a judgment? That judgment we respect.
Opening his mouth and speaking indiscreetly.
Well, I don't think this is indiscretion. He is reflecting his emotion as to how the BJP is targeting every congressman. One second, Chidambaram targeted, Waghela targeted. Chief Minister of Himachal, Veerbhadra Singh targeted, Sachin Pilot targeted, Ashok Gehlot targeted. And they are sort of, it's all happening immediately after the BJP has come to power.
It's all happening and being said 24 hours after the Delhi High Court rejected your attempt to quash the case.
It is a course of events that have taken place.
Unfortunately, when Rahul opened his mouth,
Modigate, you don't do anything.
When Rahul opened his mouth to speak, he didn't say, as he should have, I'm not referring to the Delhi High Court. He did it 24 hours after the Delhi High Court. The connection is obvious and clear. Now, out of embarrassment, you're dredging up Kotoch. You're dredging up things that happened 4 months ago.
There's nothing to do with that, and I've made it clear, and I've shown you, given you instances as to what you raid, the CBI raids a person when his daughter's wedding is taking place. Is this not targeting Congress leadership? Chidambaram has no connection with that company, and the
only thing I'm pointing out, I'm just pointing out two things. I'm just pointing out two things. Number one, that Rahul spoke 24 hours after the Delhi High Court rejected your attempt to quash the case, and the connection between the two is so obvious. It seems as if he's talking about the Delhi High Court.
That this political vendetta is by the court? Did he say that?
The fact is, he didn't say it, and that's why people made the connection.
He
spoke indiscreetly.
Don't put words in his mouth.
And the second thing, the justifications being given by you and Mr. Chidambaram, that the case was opened and then closed, is actually untrue because Arun Jaitley disputes it. And the claims being made about Rajan Kotoch are also untrue because the facts differ.
I don't agree. We'll see the files and find out. Don't come to conclusions without seeing the file yourself.
Neither can you nor can I. Let's wait for the file.
Therefore, I'm saying we're only going on the tweet.
Then making allegations at this point is wrong because we don't know the facts. Making allegations is wrong. We don't know the facts.
It is Swamy who is saying it. Who is the perpetrator of this persecution?
But he could be bragging.
He could be,
and
but
he could be wrong.
We could be,
and he probably is.
I don't know whether he's right or wrong, but it's he who said it.
Let's move beyond what Rahul Gandhi said.
He also told in court that income tax notices will soon come
Let's
to
move
them.
beyond what Rahul Gandhi said. Let's come instead to what Justice Gore has said in his order of the 7th of December. He's questioned, and I'm quoting him, the impropriety of extending interest-free loans to associated journals by Congress when the funds come from largely public donations. Secondly, he's questioned the assignment of the 90 crore debt to Young Indian when it could have been repaid from AJL's assets. And he says, and I'm quoting again, all this smacks of criminality. He adds a fraudulent flavor, and he concludes, this needs to be properly looked into. Now, when a judge exercises his judicial mind and comes to the conclusion that there is suspicion of criminality, suspicion of fraud, and it needs to be looked into, how can Rahul Gandhi 24 hours later turn around and say that this is political vendetta?
Again, you are putting words in Rahul's mouth and asking the wrong question. He did not say that the judgment is political.
He didn't make it clear either.
Therefore, don't ask me that. Let me now explain.
At least he should have made it clear what he meant, because he didn't.
Karan, you've quoted me the judgment. May I be entitled to answer it, please, if you don't mind? You please ask and put yourself the question and investigate it. By giving a loan to AGL, the Congress party loan to AGL, which law has been violated? Nobody has said anything. Neither Swami says that, nor the judge says that. One second.
Can I answer that?
Yes.
Because actually, you're raising a point Mr. Chidambaram made. You're raising it in different language, but it's the same point. Mr. Chidambaram said there can be no cheating, there can be no misappropriation unless you can prove, and someone stands up and says, I've been cheated, I've been misappropriated. Please. Justice Gore has answered that.
Please let me answer. This is not, I'm not saying what Mr. Chidambaram, I'm asking a different question.
I'm answering that.
Let me, no, you're not.
He says, Justice Gore, that it needs to be examined at the pre-charge stage as to whether lakhs of citizens who donated to the Congress party felt cheated by assignment of such a huge debt to Young Indian.
Please, if you don't mind.
On their belief that they could have been cheated, he believes an inquiry is necessary to investigate and to come to some judgment.
Therefore, there is no charge of cheating yet till the inquiry takes place? This is what you just said?
But there is grounds to inquire. There is grounds to inquire.
Fine, but there is no cheating yet.
Suspicion.
There is suspicion that somebody may have been cheated, so there is no cheating. There is no charge of cheating.
Well, suspicion could lead to the conclusion. That's why there's an investigation. I'm not saying you've cheated.
Please allow me to answer.
The charge is cheating.
Karan, I requested you at the beginning of this program, please allow me to answer. Okay?
Go ahead.
I asked you a question. What is the law which prohibits a party to give a loan to a company?
None.
None. Then, obviously, there is no violation of the law in giving the loan.
But no one is claiming that is.
Please let me answer. Which is that law which disallows a party to assign a loan to another party?
None.
Good. Now,
but that's not the charge.
When I donate you something, right? Supposing I donate 100 rupees to a charitable organization, right? And the charitable organization spends it. Can it ever be cheating?
Oh, well, hang on a moment. Now you're confusing the issue by raising charges that weren't made in court and then saying that since there's no law about it, the charge in court is of cheating and misappropriation. Let's stick to that.
I'm answering that.
But the point here is what Justice Gore says. I'm repeating it for the sake of the audience.
Let me answer instead of you'll waste just
go ahead, answer it.
Let me answer.
It needs to be re-examined.
A Congress party gives a donation. A congressman gives a donation to a Congress party can never be cheating. No, because who is the victim?
Wait, just a moment. Precisely what Justice Gore says in his judgment answers your point. I want to repeat it.
Please repeat it.
It needs to be examined at a pre-charge stage as to whether lakhs of citizens who had donated to the Congress party felt cheated by assignment of such a huge debt to Young Indian.
Now the cheating is connected to assignment.
Yes.
But I thought that giving of a loan was cheating.
No, I didn't say giving of the loan is cheating. Assignment
is now cheating. Yeah, as you know, for any cheating to take place, there has to be a misrepresentation on the basis of which somebody parts with property. And then it amounts to cheating. Which is that misrepresentation that was made?
Well, the possible misrepresentation could be this, that people donated to Congress believing it was for political purposes.
Yes.
That's what they wanted to be the case. No. Congress then passed it on to a newspaper. In turn, when that newspaper couldn't repay, the loan was assigned.
Purpose.
The loan was assigned to Young India. Young India is not a political purpose.
Yes, it is.
How is it a political purpose?
It is.
It's not.
Because the objects of Young India are those of the National Herald also. Let's not, unfortunately, if you do not read the definitions of the law, if you do not read what the essential, incidentally, this very judgment says that I cannot tell at this stage what species of criminal offences have been committed. One second. Is that not part of the judgment?
Yes.
So if the judge himself...
However, the judgment also says that there is suspicion of criminality, suspicion of fraud. He says, I can't define the precise nature, I need investigation.
You are not selecting passages in the judgment.
You.
No.
So you.
No, you read the passage. I am telling you that this is what is said, you didn't tell. The other thing that the judge says, prima facie, you can't even decide at this stage whether any offence has been committed.
But equally, hang on a moment. No, don't stop a moment. You may not be able to define for certain whether an offence has been made, but you have a suspicion that there is criminality, you have a suspicion of fraud, there is need therefore for investigation.
Rahul Gandhi or Sonia ji have committed a criminal act because there is a suspicion,
the judge
may be committed.
No one has said they've committed the act. But
you are saying,
no, I have not.
You are asking
I have
these
not.
questions.
No, I haven't. I said that I'm quoting the judge who says that investigation is needed.
It's clearly wrong.
Well, that will be decided by another judge, not by you and me.
Did I say?
So my opinion. Absolutely.
I'm entitled to say it so.
And Justice Gore at this stage is entitled as a judge to the belief investigation is needed.
No.
Now,
I can say that Justice Gore is entitled, and I am entitled to say it has no legal
One other point. The Indian Express over 2 days has revealed the names of people who are inheritors of original shareholders of AJL. One of them is former lawyer and law minister Shanti Bhushan.
Correct.
Another is the grandson of Mr. Karchu, a former Supreme Court Judge Markande Karchu, and there are some 9 others. These people believe that they were not consulted, they were not informed. They may be right, they may be wrong, maybe they weren't on the books, therefore they couldn't be consulted. But one of them at least has gone on record to say that once the shares have been muted into his name, Shanti Bhushan, he will take up this matter. He believes he's cheated. Does that not buttress what Justice Gore has been saying?
If Mr. Shanti Bhushan was so concerned about the shares of National Herald, he need not have waited for 30 years to make this statement, number one. Number
Delay
two,
is a mitigating factor. He doesn't have to be concerned all the time.
Don't be his defense counsel. Let me answer the question. He is not a shareholder at the moment. He's not a shareholder, right? And incidentally, probably even Shanti Bhushan does not know that he is not an ordinary shareholder. He is a shareholder of preferential shares, which have no voting rights.
Wait, no, hang on a second. He also has 300 ordinary shares according to the papers. According to the paper.
I am telling
You've checked into it?
I have checked into it. In fact, he has 5 preference shares, which have no voting rights.
And no ordinary shares? You've checked into this?
None whatsoever.
So the report in the press quoting him is wrong?
No, he himself is wrong. Because he doesn't know, because he was never interested. Today it's politics.
Can I come to something else? It's not just that there is concern.
Now that I've answered the question.
No.
Now what about Mr. Karju? Same thing. Mr. Karju's father had shares. Grandfather had shares. His name is still in the books. Why did Mr. Karju not transfer those shares in his own name?
That may be true of those 2 gentlemen. There are 8 others or 9 others in the Indian Express. They may not all have been named. Several of them may actually have had shares transferred into their name. We don't know the story.
No.
You're relying on incomplete information to rubbish the whole swathe of people.
You are making statements on incomplete knowledge. And I'll tell you why. Each shareholder who was in the register of shareholders has been sent a notice. Each shareholder has been, and we have records of that fact. Therefore, to say...
Can I come back to Justice...
Can
I come back to Justice Gore on that particular point?
Yes.
He also, in his judgment, raises the question whether the original 761 shareholders of AJL could be said to have been cheated when they were reduced to just 1% as a result of equity issued to Young India in lieu of the 90 crore loan. That is another area where he believes an investigation into alleged cheating needs to be done. There are 2 such areas.
Karan, to say that the matter should be investigated is one thing.
Which is all the judge has done at this point.
No. He has made statements that this is act of criminality without saying what offense.
Smacks of criminality. Smacks of criminality. Which means it suggests criminality.
Which means the judge must have applied his mind to say what offense has been committed. But he says at the same time, I don't know what species of offences have been committed.
In which case, if you believe this judgment is so poor, so contradictory as you're pointing out, so prejudice as you're suggesting, why
Now
did
that
you not
quote
go?
statements
Why
you are
did
making.
you?
I'm
Why
not making
did
any
you're
of those
suggesting it?
No, no.
You're suggesting it.
You are trying
Why
to
did
suggest
you?
it to me.
Why did you
I am
not?
suggesting.
Why did you not go on Monday night or Tuesday morning to the Supreme Court as your own party colleagues were saying you would do? Because that's where you could have raised the matter.
Now advise the Congress party as to what we should do.
That would have been the logically consistent thing to do, but you didn't take the logical step. You didn't take the logical step.
You may not be logic to a lawyer. Well, we know how to deal with matters.
Not when you're trying to wriggle out of a problem, then you're going to find other ways of handling it.
I'm sorry, you are trying to put words in my mouth and trying to show that because we have not appealed in Supreme Court, so the judgment is right.
I'm not saying the judgment is right.
What you're saying?
What I'm saying is
no.
I'm saying the reason you didn't go to the Supreme Court is because you realized that the court would turn around and say, when two lower courts have found a prima facie case to answer, the Supreme Court is not going to give you relief. Two courts will be difficult for the Supreme Court to overrule.
So you are telling me the reason why I didn't go to court?
I'm suggesting that's the reason.
You're completely wrong.
Then what's the reason?
I'll tell you as and when the events fold out.
Okay. Or as and when you've decided you have a reason to give.
No, the reason is there, but I don't have to give it to you.
Right. Let's come to something else.
I don't have to give it to a TV anchor, a reason as to why we did not appeal at that time.
Both Mr. Chidambaram and you have argued very strenuously that there can't possibly be cheating because, in fact, Young India is a Section 25 company, and a Section 25 company is barred from giving any benefit, salary, remuneration or dividend to its shareholders. However, this is again an issue that Justice Gore raises in paragraph 35 of his order. He says that after Section 8 of the new Companies Act of 213 came into being, and that was an act that your government legislated, it is possible to convert a Section 25 company into an ordinary company, and therefore the judge says that if someone wants to raise this issue, it is another issue of inquiry that could be made. He's not saying that this is a point of inquiry now, but it could be a legitimate point of inquiry in the future that Section 25 can convert into an ordinary company, and therefore Rahul and his mother Sonia could become direct beneficiaries, whereas at the moment they're not.
Two answers to that. Number one, we are being prosecuted, or they are being sought to be prosecuted for something that's happened in the past, not something that may happen in the future. Answer number one. Answer number two, this can never be done, because there is a condition of a license under the Section 25 company when the permission was granted there. And that condition of a license doesn't allow us to transfer our shares to a private party.
So you're saying that even in raising the possibility, Justice Gore is wrong, both in terms of fact as well as in terms of jurisprudence, because they're not being prosecuted in terms of the future. Here's another ground for you to have gone immediately to the Supreme Court and you didn't take it.
Mr. Thapar, Karan, why are you worried? We'll go to court when we want to, not at your instance. I don't understand what this line of questioning is. I don't understand. If we haven't gone to court, the judgment seems to be right. Because we are worried about the court. No, it is for us to decide when we go to court, how we go to court, what points to raise.
Let me end by putting this to you. Although you claim, and your party is saying this now publicly over the last 24 hours, that in fact the disruption in Parliament has got nothing to do with National Herald, there are a whole lot of other reasons why you're disrupting it, the impression has gone out into the media, the impression has gone out amongst the Indian public that Congress is A, trying to defend itself by casting aspersions upon the judiciary, its integrity, its credibility and sincerity, and B, Congress is also holding up Parliament as a way of protecting the Gandhi duo.
Both are wrong.
Suffered in the public mind and in the press hugely.
Both are wrong.
But you suffered
both
nonetheless.
Conclusions are wrong and suffered obviously because people are, distinguished anchors like you are suggesting motives on our part, which has nothing to do with the court judgment. We have the greatest respect for the court, but the court rendering a judgment may be right, may be wrong. And remember this, today even the pre-charge evidence has not started. Today there is no prima facie case against us. Only for starting the pre-charge evidence have we been summoned to court.
There could never have been more because
today there is no charge.
There couldn't be more because that's the stage at which the case is. So what you're saying is not really relevant.
No, today there is no charge. So therefore to attach criminality.
No one's attaching criminality.
It is, the judge has.
No, judge says smacks off.
What smacks of criminality means what? It is not criminal.
No, smacks off means it needs to be investigated.
Which is what?
Which is what he wants to do.
So what is that section under which? Who has been? Somebody should say I've been cheated. Have we cheated Subramaniam Swamy? Have we cheated the BJP?
The judge,
has any millions of Congress?
Can I answer that? Because the judge says you could have cheated donors to the Congress party and you could have cheated the 761 original AGL shareholders. Those are the two areas of investigation.
You know very well that there can't be cheating because there's no misrepresentation made. Under the statutory requirements of the law, we have to make the correct representation.
So are you saying to me that the suffering that the Congress has gone through in the way in which its reputation has been damaged in the public eye and secondly in the media is unfair and wrong?
Completely. Millions of congressmen out there, not a single congressman has come to the fore and said, look, I have been cheated. It's only Subramanian.
Not as yet. It could happen.
At the moment, we are being charged for suspicion for criminality and cheating when no congressman of the millions that are in this country have said that. Number two, no shareholder has come and said that, look, I have been cheated. He can't be cheated because we have followed the law. Under 173(2), you have to give an extraordinary resolution. It has to be passed by 2/3 majority. It was passed unanimously. How can anybody say there is either breach of trust or cheating?
All right, Kapil Sibal, let's leave it there. This is a complicated and difficult issue. What I will say in the end is simply this. It would be much better if you let Parliament function and remove the doubt in people's mind, which at the moment
it is the responsibility of the government to make sure Parliament functions. They are not discharging their responsibility under parliamentary procedures.
A pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.